Hello and welcome back. So now that we have a working database, let's see how we can connect to it and create our API. So we're going to use object-oriented programming because it's just much better when you're making such things to use OOP. But you absolutely don't have to use object-oriented programming. You can simply add whatever functions I put inside classes. You can just put them as functions. But everything just works better with classes. So to start with, we're just going to see how to create the database class so that we can include it in our project. So let's go to the website here and right click, and I'm going to create a new file. I'll save this as database.php. Okay, so it's important that the database, the file name and the class name are exactly the same. So here I'm going to add my PHP tags like so, and then I'm going to say class database. So I'll use a capital D, but not really a big deal there. So class database and then open close bracket. And so in here, what I want to do is create a few functions that are going to run. So first we're going to have the connect function. So I'm just going to say function connect like that. We will use this function to connect to our database. And then we're going to have another function that will read from the database. So we're just going to call this one run like this. So this will be used to both read and write to the database. This one will just be there for connection. So since the connection one will be used only inside the class itself, we're going to make it private. So I'm just going to say private function like that, while this one will be a public function like this. If you want to understand more about object-oriented programming, just check out my course right on this channel. Okay, so let's create a connection, shall we? So I'm just going to say con is equal to, that's what we're going to call it, and then we're going to use PDO. Now PDO stands for PHP Data Objects. It's just a convenient way to connect to several types of databases. So that's why I like to use PDO. And also, we're going to be using prepared statements. That way we avoid SQL injection altogether. So prepared statements are better with PDO. So here we'll add a connection string. We're going to create that string. And then we need our username and password. So in this case, it's going to be root, and then comma. This one is going to be an empty password. Now, if you're using MUMP, you may need to put root on your password here as well as root on your username. However, everybody else can use the other one. So let's create the connection string now. For PDO to connect, since it can connect to several types of databases, we have to tell it the driver that we want to use. So maybe you're using SQLite, you could say SQLite like so as the driver. But in our case, we are using MySQL, and then so we're going to use MySQL there. And then we're just going to say host is equal to, what is our host name? It's localhost. Okay, and then a semicolon, and then here what we want is the database. So DB name is equal to, and then we're going to check what our database name is. That's what we're going to add here. So let's go to our localhost phpMyAdmin and check what our database name actually is, because frankly I have forgotten. It's been a while. So let's see here. So our database name is, where is this? Okay, too many databases. I guess I have to delete some of these. What are we doing here? We are creating an API. So actually it created the database itself, and it was called the employees. This is why I couldn't remember it. So it's the employees database. Yes, that's what it is. So DB name is employees, like that. Okay, good. Now, sometimes you may want to change your connection string easier than this. Okay, so in order for it to be convenient to change that, we might as well put it in a different file. So what I will do is right click on website here and create a new file. Now it's always good, even though we're just putting values in here, it's always a good idea to put them inside a PHP file, regardless whether it's just text, because if somebody happens to try and run that PHP file, they'll just see an empty page. If it's text though, they might see your text. So in here, I'm just going to say, we're going to call this one config.php and save that. So in here, this is our configuration. So I'm just going to do some defining here. So I'll say define like that. So you use define to create constants. Now the advantage of constants is that they're accessible anywhere in the website. So we don't need to worry about scope. So here I'm going to say, what values are we looking for though? We're looking for the host name and the database name, the user and the password. So let's do that here. I'm going to say user. That's the wrong one to start with, but so the user is root, like so. Okay, so this is the key and that's the value. So let me duplicate this a couple of times, and let's start with the host like that. You can say db host, just so it's very specific what you're talking about, localhost like this. And then let's go here to db. We have the host name, we have the user, that's okay. And then we can have db password. We just do that. Okay, so the password is going to be an empty string in our case. And then user, what's this gonna be? This one will be the db name. db name, like that. And what did it do? Employees, yes, employees. And what else remains? I think this is it, because we have 4 values, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's okay, but you can put the driver name as well if you want. That's like up to you. You can say db driver, just in case you may want to change this later on. So you can say mysql, like so. Okay, great. Now it's important that we include this file anywhere that we want to use it. So we will include it in the index file. So I'll put my PHP tags there, and the index file will be the one that includes everything. So we'll say require, actually, not include, but require. Require. That way it produces an error if we don't find the file and it doesn't continue. It's different from include, which may just continue without the file. So we'll say config.php, like so. We're going to organize everything much better later on. I want to do this step by step so you don't get too confused about what we are doing. And then I don't want to, let's see here. I want to use this autoloader here, SPL autoload, class name. Is that the one? No. Okay, we'll deal with the autoloader in a minute. Let's go back to the database here. So we're going to replace these values with those in the config. So here I'm going to start with the db driver. So copy that and let's come here and let me just put it here. Since these are constants, we don't put any $signs at the beginning. They're just like this. So driver, and then let's remove that part. And then we have host, which is equal to, and then we can simply concatenate this other value here for the host. Copy. Back here, host, and then let's move a bit further. And then let's come back, DB name, boom, boom. Where's the DB name? There we go. DB name, paste, and that's about it. Like so. So our string has changed to that. Driver, hostname, DB name, and then here it's DB user, and then comma, DB pass. Like so. Okay, so if everything went well, this connection should contain something useful. So we can easily test that before we even go any further. I'm just going to say print readable so that at least we can see something. Let's print what's inside the connection. Now I like to put some pre-tags here. So I'm just going to say echo and add the pre-tags so that we can better read the data that we'll get. But remember, this is a private function, so we cannot access this from the outside. We need to use a public function to get to this one. So here, when this public function is called, all we have to do is call this one. Yeah, so I'm going to copy this. And down here, I'm just going to say this, like so, and then call connect, like that. Okay, great. So when we run this, it will run this. Good, good, good. Now, one more issue is that we haven't included this database class name, class file here. Now, a good way to organize your files is to put the classes in a folder classes so that you only have classes there for the autoloader to easily find them. So I'm going to right click here and create a new folder, and I'm going to call this one classes and save that. Then let me just close this, open the folder containing the database file, and then I'm just going to move it into classes. Okay, great. Now back here, do not save this, because if you save this database class, you'll find it here and not in, you have two copies actually, so that will get confusing real quick. So just close this, do not save, and then go find it in here and open it there, like so. Okay, so we need to have an autoloader here as well in order to test our project. What the autoloader does is that it finds the class name that you want to call, and it automatically loads the file. So let's see the problem we have right now and why we need it. So what you would normally do is just require the database file here, the DB class. So you would say require classes / database, like so. Okay. So once you do this, you are able to use the class. But as class files increase, you're going to have to require all of them one by one. But that would be a problem if you have like 30 of these classes, for example, 100. Because what will happen is that your file will be quite large. Every time your website is accessed, all the classes will be loaded at one time, even though they are not required in that moment. So that's why the autoloader is good, because it will just load what you need and therefore make the process a bit smoother. So here, if we do this, just for the sake of testing, let's see if we can read from the database. So what I'll do here is I'll just say DB, like that, is equal to new database. So capital D there, because I'm referring to the class name itself. So database, and I used an uppercase when activating it. So once I do this, it's going to run what is known as a constructor, but we are not using the constructor. So instead, we're going to call a very specific function and just say db run, like so. Okay, great. So let's go to our browser now and see if we get something. So back here, localhost/API/website, and let's refresh. So as you can see now, we have an empty object, but it's telling us that it's actually a PDO object, which is very good news. It means we may have something going on here that is good. Okay, so in the next video, let's look at how to add an autoloader instead, and then actually finish the database class so we can read something from the database. I'll see you then.